Hey, Ryan coming back to you from Slide-Loc, this time to show you our patent pending quick release lever in a different household application. You know, we're used to seeing them in the aquarium trade where they were first introduced to be able to quickly access bulkheads and things like that that you need to get in and out of for routine maintenance. Given that they're made of really high quality anodized aluminum, 316 stainless steel with titanium and a polycarbonate blend that are going to be coming out as well. But I'm going to show you how to use these on something else I picked up today that I needed for my personal self. And we're going to take this device and make it just a little better. Many of you know we live in Minnesota. And so as a result, the last couple days blizzard-wise put us back and ruined my trusty old shovel. So I had to go pick up a new one from Menards. In the process, they had this really cool device that's made over in South Dakota called Macen's grip. And basically it adds a handle to your handle. So you don't have to bend over as far. You can adjust the amount of torque or leverage that you have based on that angle, which is incredibly helpful. And so opening this up, notice that I can use this in a little better function with our quick release levers. And so I'm going to show you how. And I'll walk you through a little bit how the device works as well. So first things first, you open it up. It has different sleeves. So depending on the diameter of your handle, you can adjust to that, which is really slick. We're going to be using the largest one. And next thing would be the handle, which is meant to be adjustable. So depending on the user or the application, you can adjust its pivot point, or not the pivot point, but where it is in that pivot. And then trusty old bag of screws, which is the part that we're going to modify. Some easy to follow instructions, get that out of the way. On these screws, and again, this is nothing against this particular company. They're working with what they can. That's in the industry for fasteners, and frankly, there's not much. So we've got a standard bolt, 1/4-20 threading, which is pretty commonly used, several bolts, different lengths, and the trusty old wing nut. And for those of you who haven't already experienced the pains of a wing nut, I'll point those out really quickly because I think it'll be very apparent. It's not that they can't work, there's just certain applications they don't work as well as we hope. So most of that we're going to throw away. And then next thing that we're going to do is this thing has to get attached to the handle. So instead of using the wing nut and bolt, we're going to go back to this batch heat reactor that I'd modified. We're going to take one of these levers off. We're going to swap it out with one of the longer Slide-Loc studs because that's a little better fit for this application. Put it through the holes. We're going to put the lever on initially, and we're going to put the bolt on. Now there is an included, in the back of this, there is an included Allen wrench to be able to do small adjustments. In this particular device, given the amount of torque we're going to put on it, anodized aluminum isn't going to hold up. Get your steel set out. For Allen wrenches, you'll be better off. Get the right thing there. All right. Now all of this up to this point is stuff that you're going to end up doing anyways, for all intents and purposes, and you'll see why. But we're going to go ahead and get this tightened down. I'm not going to tighten it as much as I normally would. Well, turns out I am. So anyways, the lever attaches, easily pops off, allows you to adjust it. You can put it back on. You might notice right away, if I turn this, that lever hangs off nicely in this particular case, and you can imagine a nice big lever if you're wearing gloves, either in the summer or in this case in the winter. You're not going to easily grab a thumb screw. You're not going to easily grab one of these wing nuts and try and get that off. Your gloves are going to slip. And then invariably what's going to happen, which we'll do now, loosen that up a little bit so we can get it turned. Normally at this point you put the handle in, get it on the pivot point, put the second and third bolt in order to adjust where this is on its axis. But again, we're only going to use one of these bolts. And so before we put that bolt on, we're going to modify this hole. And I already modified the hole on the handle, but just to demonstrate, we're going to modify this one. We just need to widen it out slightly. I like these tapered bits. Allows you to do easy adjustments. So now we've got that drilled out. The reason we drill that out is the end of this stud has a ball on it. And for this to work the best way that it can, that ball needs to fit all the way through. So that's what we're doing, is widening that out so that'll fit. Get that vertical. Then in this case, we'll get that lever put back on there. grab one of their shorter bolts, and now we're going to show the power of the wing nut. So you put the wing nut on, and quickly what happens is that if you're spinning it here, you're going to find that the other end is spinning too. So you can only get so tight by hand before it doesn't work. And as you start to use this, one of the things that I've had happen is that this wing nut can easily let loose if you don't have any thread lock or something like that on there. And so then all of a sudden the thing's coming loose over time, and that's no fun. So now what we're going to do is we've got that on there, and you're going to say, gosh, I'm putting this wing nut on, I can't get it as tight as I would like. So you're like, I'll get the socket set out. So we get the right socket set. You're like, hey, I'm going to tighten it down, and to no big surprise, wing nut starts spinning. So now you run back and rummage through the drawers, find your pliers. You decide to go at it with both of them. Just give it a little bit of a torque, and now it's on there sturdy, it's not coming off. But now if you ever did want to adjust that, take that apart, imagine all these other fasteners, you're out there with the pliers and finding your socket set and the one that your kid stole and ran off with. We'll assume it was the kid and not you. And you're trying to redo all that, it doesn't work so well. So now we're going to get the last stud in place. So again, normally you want to be able to make sure that you get these holes lined up. That stud can go all the way through. Initially when we're fastening it, it doesn't really matter. All right, we'll get this one threaded on a little bit. Steal another one of these levers. So in this device, we're going to use 2 levers and rotate in any position. But what we're looking for here is just a little bit of torque. We don't need much on this particular one. And still need a little bit more. And this is where, for the slight amount of torque this has, you could use another lever to tighten it down. So it doesn't need to be real tight. I think that's plenty good. So now, in this case, we've got this handy lever that we've attached to our shovel that you can adjust in your various position. And right now it's got a little bit of play in it. We could easily tighten down the other side if we needed to make that a little bit more secure. But you're going to go and adjust positions, grab your gloves, keep them on. You don't need any tools. Pop out the stud, change the position, put it back in again, and you say, hey, we're good to go. Or you're going to go from your shovel that you've been using all winter, you're going to put it on your scoop shovel that you're going to be using for stuff around the garden or what have you, or broom. You're going to pop the other lever off and quickly change that out and just put it on the other one. Easy. And then you don't have any problems. So hopefully that helps. But again, this is the Slide-Loc patent pending quick release lever. Be able to use and swap out some of these annoying standard fasteners that aren't always the most convenient to be using, especially if you're going to be in a situation that you either want to be fast, convenient, or keep your gloves on. So thanks again.